This is the Drop the Rope mindfulness. Start out by centering yourself, by taking a deep breath, noticing your chest rising and falling as you breathe. Breathe in really slow all the way to the top of your lungs. Hold that breath for a moment. Breathe out really slow all the way down to the bottom of your belly, and then pause at that breath. As you start to breathe normally, check in with your senses. Notice what you feel and what you hear around you. Notice what you see. Notice if there's any smells in the air or tastes left on your tongue. As you bring yourself into your body, I invite you to close your eyes. If you're not comfortable with that, that's okay. Just focus on a spot on the wall or a floor or somewhere around you. As you continue to breathe nice and easy, nice and slow, I'd like you to imagine that you're standing in the middle of a large field. Imagine this field, however you'd like, covered in grasses or sagebrush. Maybe it's an open desert. Whatever helps you feel content, feel in the moment. And as you're looking at this field, you can see that it extends as far as you can see in all directions. It's a vast field, much too far to walk in this moment. But somewhere off in the distance, in the middle of your field, you can see a crack running through the middle of your field. So I'd like you to imagine that you're going to walk toward that crack. And as you get closer to it, you start to realize that this crack is actually a canyon running through your field. And notice that this canyon is not very wide, but definitely too far to reach. There's no way that anything could jump across. There's no way around it. It extends as far as you can see in all directions, both directions. And as you look down, the face is completely sheer, no way to climb down it or climb up the other side. And it looks like it's basically infinitely deep. You can't even see the bottom, it's so far down. And notice that as you peek down into that canyon, that brings up a little bit of anxiety. That you know that falling into that canyon means forever feeling despair. As you feel that despair come up, I'd like you to step back from the canyon. Notice that feeling of anxious despair come up in your body. As you notice that, I'd like you to have this experience of a shadow starting to form across on the other side of the canyon. And as you see this shadow starting to form out of thin air, sort of swirling in and out of itself, creating a shape, I'd like you to notice that that shape takes form of something that you're struggling with right now. But notice that it's not quite the thing you're struggling with. That thing is not here in this space, but rather it's a shadow of the thing that you're dealing with, the thing that you have this struggle with. It might be a person, it might be a decision that you have to make, but it's just a shadow of that thing that represents what your thoughts are, your struggling thoughts connected to that idea. And you notice that creates the same kind of anxiety as if you're dealing with the actual thing. Even though it's not here in this moment, it still brings up some of those painful feelings, anxieties, or despair. Take your deep breath, once again, noticing that you're safe in this moment. That even though this difficult thing is right across the canyon from you, that it can't reach you. It can't get across. You're protected from it, and any fear, any sadness that comes up is more of a representation of the shadow of that thing. But as you notice that, you'll notice that extending from within the shadow, a rope starts to come out and come across the canyon. And that rope extends, and pretty soon you'll notice that you're actually holding that rope in your hands. And as you become aware of that, you notice the shadow pulling on the rope. That there's a sort of little tug that happens every once in a while. And at first, when you weren't expecting it, it made you feel almost as if you were going to fall into the canyon. But as you get a little bit of awareness of what's going on, you pull back. You resist the tension from this shadow. But as soon as you do, the shadow pulls back even harder. And notice that you're now engaging in this sort of tug of war that keeps getting harder and harder to pull against. And that tug of war is your struggle. It's the battle with this idea, with this thing. And you're starting to feel weak, and it doesn't seem like that shadow has any less strength than it started with. It's still pulling as hard as it ever was. And just about the time that you feel like you can't pull anymore, like you have to give in to the struggle, fall into despair, I'd like you to wonder and imagine what might happen if you let go of the rope. Imagine yourself doing that, just letting go of the rope. And notice that the rope sort of flops down and lands against the other side of the canyon. And in that moment, you notice this shadow has no tie to you. You're not attached to it anymore. As you become aware of that, you notice that there's a little bit of relief in not having to fight against this thing, whatever it might be. There's a little bit of relief in not being attached to the shadow, to letting yourself be free of it, even if it's just for this moment. And notice that the shadow may try to whip the rope back up again and get you to grab it again. And you can. You can continue the struggle if you choose. But you can also just keep letting go. You can also just keep to yourself and say, I'm not going to engage with this shadow right here, right now. It's just a thought separate from me with no attachment. And as you come into that awareness, notice the shadow starts to fade away. That the swirls kind of disappear and eventually kind of pop out of existence. And you're once again left with this meadow, this land, this beautiful area that you created in your mind. So imagine allowing yourself to step back away from the canyon that represents that despair, turning around and walking away. And at that moment you realize the beautiful sunset, all of the trees that were behind you, this wonderful image of a life without that struggle. Go ahead and take another big deep breath, breathing in really deep, holding the top of that breath, and slowly breathing it out, all the way down to the bottom of your belly. As you do, you become aware of the sounds around you again. Become aware of the feelings around you, what you can feel. And allow that awareness to bring your attention back to this moment, right here, right now.